Hello everyone and welcome back to One Soccer. I am your host for today, Josh Deming, and we are back with another episode of our Canadians Abroad series where each and every week we keep you guys updated with all your Canadians playing abroad. This week's update will be from May the 12th until May the 16th, and there's a lot of exciting things as well, of course, some silverware involved. So hopefully you guys are excited, and if you are, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and let's get into the update now. Alphonso Davies featured in his final Bundesliga match of the season. He started and played 81 minutes as a left wing back in a 3-4-2-1 system. Davies had 94 touches, 7 recoveries, he completed 81% of his passes, he had 1 interception, and he created 4 chances as Bayern drew Wolfsburg 2-2 to end off their season with a 24-5-5 record on 77 points. It was another strong match for Davies, even though Bayern are clearly in cruise control or are just simply trying to see out the rest of the season. Daniel Jebsen started on the bench for Sheffield United over the weekend. He was substituted into the match on the 82nd minute to try to help his side get a result against Nottingham Forest. Richie Laryea was an unused substitute and did not feature in the match away from home as Forest picked up an impressive 2-1 win in the first leg of the championship playoffs. The second leg will be wide open with everything to play for, but one thing is for sure, a Canadian will be playing in the final match with an opportunity to send their club to the Premier League. Having a Canadian play in the Premier League will be very interesting, and the opportunity is there for one of these two sides to make that step. We have a big Marcelo Flores update reported by Gareth Wheeler. It says sources say that the 18-year-old Arsenal U23 standout has informed Canada he has decided to play his international football with Mexico. Flores' decision to play for Mexico ends a long-standing recruitment mission by Canada head coach John Herdman to convince the prodigy to represent the country of his birth. Herdman remained in regular contact with Marcelo through this process, as well as his father Ruben, who has believed to be influential in his son's decision. It is believed Flores' decision to play for Mexico is not dependent on whether he gets called into Mexico's World Cup side for Qatar. Flores has his heart committed to El Tri and Canada is out of the running. It is believed Herdman and Canada did everything they could to try to convince Flores to choose Canada for his international football. Discussions continued up until recent weeks when Flores informed Canada of his decision. It's a tough loss for Canada, but somewhat expected, and I'm curious to see if Herdman will now put his directions towards capping a couple other dual nationals.
The men's team, the best team in CONCACAF through World Cup qualifying, we need to make sure that that's sustainable in this country. A lot of it is investment and work that goes on behind the scenes, but a lot of it is having players like Marcelo potentially commit to Canada. The chances for success go up when you convince a player to come. And look, it's no slam dunk going into a highly competitive Mexican squad where this player probably would have been part of the Canadian squad heading into Qatar, even though he's never played for them yet. That's how highly rated he is. There's no guarantees he's going to be part of the Mexican squad going to Qatar this time around. So look, it's what he wanted. It sounds like this is what his father wanted. He's played with Mexico under 16, under 20 teams in the past. He's played for the senior men's national team twice as well, just not in an official competitive game. So once he gets cap tied, which we expect will come in the not so distant future, then that story will be done and dusted. But like I said, Canada's being told that he's playing for Mexico.
David was back in action over the weekend, starting and playing all 90 minutes as a striker in a 4-4-2 system. David had 34 touches, 5 shots, he hit the post once, scored 2 goals. The first was a true striker's finish, adjusting his body to smash home a ball from a perfect way across. After breaking his duck, he wasn't done there and he scored his second goal of the match with an easy tap-in to bring his tally to 15 goals in Ligue 1 this season and end his 13-match scoreless streak. David also walked away with the man of the match performance as Lille went on to beat Nice 3-1 to sit with a record of 14, 12, and 11 on 54 points, 10th place in the table.
The most fruitful in terms of numbers. Been a bad season though. Of course he could get in on that now, and it's Jonathan David finally breaks his long goalless streak. Bamba delivered into the middle, flicks onto the post, and the rebound found its way in by David. Will it count? It won't. Offside flag has gone up. David appeals.
Charles Brim was in action over the weekend, starting and playing 77 minutes as a right wing in a 3-4-3 system. Eindhoven went on to win the match 3-1 in the second leg, winning 4-2 on aggregate in the quarterfinals of the promotion playoffs. Brim was solid throughout the match, having 45 touches, 2 shots, 9 recoveries, and he scored the match-winning goal, sending Eindhoven to the promotion semifinals. It will be very impressive if Eindhoven can get promotion this season, and it will be really good for Brim playing top-flight football in the Netherlands. Tejan was not able to feature over the weekend as he picked up a red card in the 1-0 win over Union Saint-Gilloise, so he's unable to feature in Club Brugge's 3-1 win over Antwerp. After picking up another 3 points, Club Brugge sit first in the championship table with a 4-1-0 record on 49 points, and they clinched the title and with it a guaranteed spot in the Champions League next season. Tejan will have the opportunity to play at the highest level next season, and he deserves a huge amount of credit for a rapid rise over the past year. It's unfortunate that Tejan wasn't able to feature in this match that clinched the title, but he's been a huge part of this team ever since making that transfer. Juan Cordova was in action for Huachipato over the weekend. He started and played 85 minutes as a left back in a 4-2-3-1 system, as Huachipato lost 3-1 to sit 5th place in the table with a 6-2-5 record. Cordova had a solid match at the back. He created 1 chance, had 41 touches, 7 recoveries, 1 interception, and 1 block. Cordova has been featuring a lot this season for Huachipato. He's featured in 9 of an available 13 matches, and it'll be very interesting to see if he gets back on the radar for John Herdman. Derek Cornelius featured over the weekend, starting and playing all 90 minutes as a center back in a 4-2-3-1 system, as Pantelikos lost 3-1 to Ionikos, who sit top of the table of the relegation group. Pantelikos now sit with a 10-7-16 record and are now 5th in the Greek League relegation group. It's looking very likely that Pantelikos will sign Derek Cornelius from the Whitecaps once his loan deal is done. However, after this strong season, there's a very high potential that they're going to flip him for a profit. His likely destination right now looks like he might be heading to Hungary. Steven Vittori was back in action over the weekend, starting on the bench for Moreirense, but was substituted into the match on the 67th minute to help see out a comfortable 4-1 win. With this result, they move up to 16th in the table with a 7-8-19 record on 29 points, just enough to avoid automatic relegation. It went right down to the wire in that last match of the season, but what an escape for Moreirense. It's been a bit of a disastrous season for Vitória, but it could end up on a high if he's able to help his side avoid relegation. I'm curious to see if Vitória is going to feature in the relegation playoffs. He hasn't featured too much for Moreirense, but it's going to be very interesting and important to see if he's able to, because he needs to get back in action because he's going to be vital for the Canadian men's national team come June. Stefan Eustáquio was an unused substitute over the weekend. He watched on to see Porto finish off their season at home with a comfortable 2-0 win to end their season with a record of 29-4-1. Porto won the league title in the previous match against Benfica, but they were able to celebrate the title at home in front of all their fans. Steph lifts his first piece of silverware and will have the opportunity to lift another one real soon as Porto have their cup final this weekend. It's been an incredible rise for Eustáquio as well. Lifting this silverware has to mean the world to him, and I'm hoping that he's able to build on this season and hopefully fight for a starting spot next season. The Canadian success didn't stop here this weekend, as in the Women's Coupe de France final, Ashley Lawrence started and played all 90 minutes as a right back in a 4-3-3 system. She had an unbelievable performance in the final, scoring 2 goals and picking up an assist as well. She wasn't the only Canadian to feature in the final, as Jordan Huitema was substituted into the match in the 63rd minute to help PSG cruise to an astonishing 8-0 win against Yzeure. PSG were up 5-0 within the first 15 minutes of the match over Yzeure, who are a second-tier side with the smallest budget in their league. It was quite the Cinderella story that saw Yzeure make the final, but unfortunately for them, that's as far as it went. PSG face Lyon in 2 weeks' time, and they have to win that match to stay in the race for the Cup and League double. But if there's one big takeaway from the match, is the fact that Jordan Huitema and Alphonso Davies absolutely love winning trophies, and honestly they like celebrating those wins even more, as Jordan Huitema had an iconic celebration, lifting the Coupe de France trophy, jumping into a pool with her teammates, celebrating. The video was sensational. I highly recommend you checking out, and that's probably not going to be the last trophy that we see Huitema celebrate. Scott Arfield was in action over the weekend, starting and playing 45 minutes as a center mid in a 4-3-3 system. Rangers went on to beat Hearts 3-1. Arfield had 45 touches, completed 36 of 37 passes, and he had 2 shots as Rangers finished off their season in second place with a 27-8-3 record, 4 points behind Celtic. Arfield will have the opportunity to pick up 2 more pieces of silverware this season as Rangers take on Frankfurt in the Europa League final this Wednesday as they seek European glory, which would be quite an achievement for this club. And after that, at the weekend, they also have the chance to lift the Scottish Cup in the finals. They take on Hearts. He may not be playing for the Canadian men's national team anymore, but Scott Arfield lives in the hearts of us Canadians, captaining our side as well, and now he's going to have an opportunity to lift some European silverware. It's very, very impressive, and I hope he's able to pull it off. Milan Borjan started in goal for Red Star over the weekend, and he kept a clean sheet as his side won a close match 1-0 to remain first place in the championship group with a 31-4-1 record on 97 points. Partizan remain in second place with a 29-5-1 record on 92 points, but they do have a match in hand. If Red Star win their final match of the season, they will be the champions, and a few days after that, they will take on Partizan to see if they can pull off the cup and league double. This has been such an exciting title race in Serbia. It's going to come right down to the wire, and we're hoping that Milan Borjan and company can get the job done. Stefan Mitrovic started over the weekend. He started and played 90 minutes as a left mid in a 4-4-2 system, as Radnički Niš went on to win 2-0 to sit 4th place in the championship group with a 12-15-9 record on 51 points. Stefan Mitrovic has taken huge strides this season and has become a revelation, and after news of missing out on Marcelo Flores, I'm very curious to see if John Herdman is going to give this player a little bit more attention and maybe give him a call-up for the upcoming Nations League. After some strong recent performances from Kyle Larin, he started once again over the weekend, starting and playing 63 minutes as a striker in a 3-4-3 system. Larin had 2 shots, 20 touches, and he scored the opening goal of the match, as he was the quickest to react from a free kick that kindly fell his way, and he calmly dispatched it into the back of the net. This brings his goal tally to 7 on the season, and it's his first goal for Besiktas since December. Hugely important for Kyle Larin that he was able to score that goal and break his goal duck. Atiba Hutchinson was substituted into the match at halftime, and at that point Besiktas already had 2 players sent off and they were down to 9 men. Despite the odds, they were able to walk away with a 2-0 win, and they sit 6th place in the table with a 15-13-9 record. As we know, Kyle Larin will be leaving Besiktas at the end of the season. We don't know where he's going to go, but he is finishing the season on a high, and it was good to see him score that goal, and hopefully he will get the transfer that he wants. Dane St. Clair started in goal for Minnesota United over the weekend, as he had 27 touches, 5 recoveries, he made 4 saves, and he had an expected XG of 2.79. Minnesota United went on to lose the match against the Seattle Sounders 3-1, and they sit 10th place in the West with a 4-2-5 record. Despite giving up 3 goals, St. Clair still had a strong performance, and he's hoping to continue building on that as he's locked down the starting spot in Minnesota. Mark-Anthony Kaye was back at it over the weekend as he started and played 79 minutes as a center mid in a 3-4-1-2 system. Kaye completed 67% of his passes, he created 1 chance, he had 4 recoveries, 27 touches, and 3 successful dribbles, as the Colorado Rapids won 2-0 over LAFC to sit 7th place in the West with a 4-3-4 record. Maxime Crépeau was given the night off for LAFC after featuring in a bunch of matches recently, but this was a statement performance from the Colorado Rapids, showing that they are going to be real playoff contenders this season after taking down the top team in the MLS. Vanessa Gillis featured over the weekend as she started and played all 90 minutes as a center back in a 4-3-3 system. She had 71 touches, 8 clearances, 4 interceptions, 4 recoveries. She picked up an assist and was the player of the match as Angel City FC won 1-0 against the Washington Spirit to start off their season with a 2-0-1 record. It's been a very strong start to the season so far for Angel City FC, and Gillis has been a revelation already, being one of the best players for them this season. Desiree Scott and Victoria Pickett started for Kansas City Current over the weekend. Scott started as a center mid and Pickett started as a left mid in a 3-4-2-1 system. Scott completed 75% of her passes, she had 46 touches and 6 recoveries. As Pickett completed 77% of her passes, she created 2 chances and had 49 touches, as the Kansas City Current went on to draw the match 2-2 to sit 11th place in the table with an 0-1-2 record. Nichelle Prince and Sophie Schmidt both started for the Houston Dash over the weekend. Prince started as a right attacking mid and Schmidt started as a CDM in a 4-2-3-1 system. Prince had 8 recoveries, 4 shots, 34 touches, and she scored a goal, as Schmidt had 4 recoveries, 2 clearances, and 27 touches in the match. Houston went on to pick up a draw 1-1, and they sit 4th place in the table with a 1-1-1 record. Christine Sinclair was back in action over the weekend as she started and played 74 minutes as a striker in a 3-5-2 system. Sinclair had 1 shot, created 3 chances, and had 34 touches. Later in the match, Janine Becky was substituted on the 63rd minute as Portland drew 0-0 against Quinn's OL Reign. They start off the season with a 1-1-0 record and sit 3rd place in the table. On the flip side of that result, Quinn had a strong match as well, completing 40-47 passes, having 1 shot, 4 recoveries, and 61 touches. OL Reign sit 10th place in the table with an 0-2-1 record. Jessie Fleming featured in a cup final over the weekend as she was substituted into the match in the 80th minute as Chelsea went on to win 3-2 in extra time against Manchester City. They went on to win the Women's FA Cup and they pulled off the Cup and League double. It's been a very successful few weeks for Jessie Fleming as yet another Canadian celebrates a title in Europe this season. It hasn't always been easy at Chelsea for Jessie Fleming as she's sometimes found game time hard to come by, but she's definitely part of this side and seeing her celebrate the Cup and League double has been incredible and there's definitely some good things for her to come. Julia Grosso featured for Juventus over the weekend, starting and playing 75 minutes as a center mid in a 4-3-3 system. She helped Juventus finish off the season 2-1 winners over AC Milan to sit top of the table with a 19-2-1 record. It was a really promising season for Julia Grosso at Juventus, and I know that she's going to take even bigger steps next season. That's all for this episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub as well, because we are getting dangerously close to 50,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us get there, dropping a sub will go a long way. Also be sure to subscribe over to One Soccer for all things Canadian soccer. It's the best place for that type of content. And until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers, friends.